What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your D&D VTuber for today with some more RPG horror stories. Nah, that doesn't feel right. Like, just because I'm a VTuber doesn't mean I'm not a storyteller, and just everything just kind of feels better. I mean, I have this book for a reason. I'm here to tell you stories, so I'm gonna just stick with the classic. I'm your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories, which means we should probably get to the first one and cut the intro short. Player quits because her character's boyfriend gets kidnapped. I joined a Cyberpunk Red game, having just played 2077 and wanting more. Okay, I joined it with a Nomad, although my character is mostly irrelevant here. Think of a dude with a Mad Max car. He goes by Quint. Other players are Rocker Boy, or rather Rocker Girl, flavored as an aspiring pop idol, called Jennifer from here, a Netrunner, brain computer interface user called Cole, and a solo who's quite standard merc, known as Matthias. Now, from the first session, it becomes quite evident that the rest of us are really into the story DM is trying to tell, and the sandbox she has built for us, except for Jennifer's player, who wants to play a dating sim. Wherever the rest of us are trying to work on the assignment of the week, Jennifer is trying to hit a bar and seduce some NPC, or PC. She's not creepy about it or anything, but she clearly doing something totally disconnected most of the time. Dating sims in D&D, honestly, they're kind of fun, especially if your DM is perfectly okay with it. If that's the kind of thing you want to do and your DM is perfectly fine to give you that sort of entertainment, that's completely fine. It's a side quest. It's not the main quest. The main quest of Cyberpunk Red is to like do heists or do specific jobs or mafioso type stuff. I never played Cyberpunk Red, but I'm assuming it's like a big mafia gang war kind of thing where you're like choosing sides and corporations and stuff like that. That's what I assume it is. But I mean, like, you gotta make sure you focus on the main quest. You can't just go off running away gallivanting on a side quest. You could have a little bit of dating sim on the side while doing the main quest with everybody else. That's nothing wrong with that. But we'll see how this plays out. Well, the DM had a talk with her about it. She says she understands the concern, but makes a point that she really enjoys romance, and since nobody had any lines or veils or session 0, she figured it'd be okay. And also that finding love is a big goal for the Jennifer character, but she apologizes for side-railing the story, and overall the conversation is quite constructive. Things improve from there. It's without issues for like a dozen sessions. There's some romance for Jennifer here and there, but it's not disruptive anymore. Our plot leads us to join a raid against an Arakasa facility. Very dangerous, but things had gone badly and we were out of options. Before the raid, Jennifer and Cole end up together. In character, not out of character. Against all odds, the raid goes super well. Matthias gets shot a ton, but manages to roll low damages. Cole takes over the entire facility system, including a dozen turrets, and fights whole platoon by himself. Well, by proxy. Quinn's car blows up, but he manages to steal a better one, and Jennifer manages to save a bunch of children Arasaka was experimenting on. All thanks to great roles from all of us, and some good decisions. All is well, and our characters are no longer at acute risk of being organ harvested for our debts. Until the DM decides some goons from Kang Tao, another mega corporation, jumping on Cole when he's going to fetch fast food for the crew. Despite fighting quite valiantly for Computer Nerd, our poor Netrunner gets thrown into the back of the supposedly Kang Tao van and disappears. By the speed at which Cole player had a backup character at hand, and the calmness he took his character's sudden demise, this was probably something GM gave a heads up to Cole's player ahead of time. However, Jennifer's player was almost livid, accusing the GM of going out of her way to smite her plotlines and remove all the way she's enjoying the game, and that this turn of events makes absolutely zero sense in universe since we did not attack Kang Tao, and since they should have no reason to go after Cole. At this point, I don't even know if it was actually them, because I think that Kang Tao people wouldn't kidnap a person using a van with their own logo in it. Sometimes after a while of playing for long sessions, maybe you get bored of your first character and you think, alright, well, that's the story over, that's completely fine. And you decide, hey DM, I kinda want to switch characters. And the DM, usually in most situations, will either find a way to retire the character, or alternatively, which I think what this DM is doing, which is kinda cool, she's using Cole as a plot point for the next part of the session and next part of playing Cyberpunk Red. So now it becomes dealing not with Arasaka, but dealing with Kang Tao, or maybe subordinates or insubordinates of Kang Tao that are using the trucks of Kang Tao or something. Now, I could be making assumptions, and maybe the DM just kind of winging it and just throwing things just for the sake of throwing things, but it seems pretty pretty planned out. I mean, Cole was pretty cool with it, and he probably wanted that to happen. But it seems like Jennifer was not clued in on what's going on, and she's having a bit of a fit. The GM just says something like, "It's a dangerous world." Then Jennifer leaves the call and the server. We all just are confused and scatter. It seems like co-player should probably let Jennifer player know what's going on if they're like, a thing, in character. They'll be like, "Hey, listen, this was kind of the plan ahead of time. I just wanted to move on to the different character. Hopefully I'll still playing, but if not, then oh well, I guess." A kind of mild of a story, but you know what? It makes me want to learn about Cyberpunk Red. I'm actually hooked. I want to learn Cyberpunk Red. I shouldn't be learning new systems. I already got like one campaign going and part of another campaign, and I want to start a Star Wars thing, but oh man, I just want to learn TTRPGs so badly. Anyway, sorry, weird tangent. Let's get to the next story for today. A main character. When I was recruiting for my current campaign last year, I had someone who seemed like a great fit until they presented their character concept to me. The premise was that it would be a horror campaign set in a world of Eberron, which revolved around the players' backstories. Each player was to either have a backstory which included a traditional horror monster, zombies, vampires, Frankenstein's monster, etc., or have a hole in it which I could add one. Over the course of the campaign, we explore each of these backstories and we would get a fun Eberron twist on all these horror monsters. The campaign would start with their first day at the entry-level position in one of the Dragon Mart houses, essentially mega corporations which have arguably more power than countries. The players would choose together which house. The problematic player's backstory was that they had been a high-ranking member of one of Dragon Mart houses, discovered the house was committing war crimes and tried to get it to stop, but was unable to. The house tried to assassinate him and all of his family for acting against them. His family was slaughtered, but he escaped. Wow, this actually sounds kind of cool, kind of a decent backstory for a Oh, there's more. Oh, there's a lot more. There's a lot more. He went into hiding and contracted a newspaper and wrote a scathing article about the house, war crimes, and the attack on his family. The article went viral and everyone was appalled, completely disowning the house, causing its complete collapse. This caused serious ripples across the workings of the world, weakening all of the other Dragon Mart houses, causing them to have considerably less influence and most people to be wary of them. The other Dragon Mart houses sent assassins after him, causing him to need to flee his home once again. He ended up in a different country, from which he began to work with law enforcement to root out corruption. He ultimately became a household name known for driving out corruption and was hired by heads of state and other large organizations to fix the corruption problem. Rather than him applying to an entry-level position at the Dragon Mart house, he instead wanted it such that the Dragon Mart house had reached out and hired him to solve the corruption problem. Yeah, the first couple of lines, they were like really good for a backstory, really good. The rest of it, it's like, dude, you could be experiencing that as part of D&D, as part of the story. That could be your story. Why are you relegating the fun stuff to a backstory? You could be actually exploring that and actually doing that in the campaign, in the game, and having bunch of memories, but instead you're setting your character up to be basically overpowered and you already explored all the adventures. So what else is there for you to experience? Already went on this grand journey. What else is there for you to do? The whole fun is starting from the bottom and getting somewhere. Imagine if Morrow, I entered a D&D campaign as a god, a demigod, an unkillable entity. I want Morrow to start at the bottom. I wanted Morrow to start at the bottom because I wanted to experience what it's like for Morrow to start at the bottom, work his way up, realize his powers, realize his connection with the succubus, the patron for his warlock pact, right? And then learn more about the island of Isgard that he is on and go from there. Imagine if Morrow just started at the top. Dude, that'd be so boring. What are you gonna do? Don't ruin stories for yourself. Enjoy the story. Enjoy the climb to the top. Enjoy the climb forward, the adventure with everybody else around you at the table, including the DM. It's a story building process together. Not by yourself starting off overpowered. It's boring. Eberron generally allows for level 1 PCs to have a lot more experience than other settings generally presume. A common backstory is having served in the 100-Year War, but I thought this was wild. Reads more like a synopsis of a character arc over the course of a campaign than a backstory, lol. That's what I'm saying, it's literally a synopsis. It's like a game already happened and you're just reading through it instead of experiencing it. I tried to explain that this was a bit much for level 1 PC, even in Eberron. That the backstory didn't really fit the theme of the campaign as it was lacking a horror element. That I was uncomfortable with this backstory completely altering the relationship of the houses of the world. It's a big change for one of the main elements of the setting, especially as it is one that the campaign was intended to revolve around. Dude, imagine making an island for your D&D campaign called Silverreach with cool elven lore and dwarven mountains and secret tunnels of, I don't know, goblins and orcs and stuff. But then some player comes over the backstory and says, I was born on Island of Poopy Land. It's the only island that ever exists. And now your entire story is about the Island of Poopy Land because no other island exists. Imagine doing that. Imagine doing that to your DM. You're rewriting the entire story in the setting because you want your character to have a specific backstory in there. Listen, if you want to run Poopy Land, run your own campaign with Poopy Land. Enjoy the Silver Mountains or whatever. I forgot the name. It was such a cool name. I already forgot the name. That a single newspaper article would not cause the collapse of mega corporation. Real-life mega corporations receive bad press all the time, and it doesn't even dent them. Just look at Nestle posting record profits. Actually, unironically, like, not to tap into life, canceling somebody doesn't really work anymore, or really never worked in the first place. It's like bad PR, people forget, and then the company comes back and make you more money. Sometimes, because of cancel culture, you can even make more money. You can monetize cancel culture. It's wild. Anyway, back from reality and into the story. That it seemed improbable that a Dragonmart house would hire him if he was famously personally responsible for destroying one and severely hurting the others. That such a backstory put him in a position of power over the other players, which was unfair to them. That his backstory essentially sounded complete. There wasn't much there, which was left to be explored during the campaign. I offered to compromise, essentially allowing him 3 points, which still left him as a previous powerful and influential member of the Dragonmart house, which I still thought was a bit of an overreach, but figured it was at least workable. Now we could explore the rest over the course of the campaign, if you could add a horror element to it. Yo, I said the same thing! Me and DM are like literally on the same brainwave right now. Take the first 3, experience the rest, or experience whatever's going on there. He wouldn't budge, and as soon as I mentioned compromise, he told me he was disappointed in me, and that he had worked really hard on this concept at the pub the night before. He then left the campaign Discord without saying anything to the other players. Ultimately, it's obvious now that we dodged the bullet, and the role placement player we got for him is awesome. The group is nearly 40 sessions into the campaign and having heaps of fun. 40 sessions, that's wild. I'm so happy for you, DM. And yeah, you probably dodged the bullet. The guy really wanted to have it all. He wanted to have the cake, the second cake, the third cake, the cake from the next door table, and then just eat them and have them all. I don't know what I was going for. Why would you want to set yourself up for everything already being complete? It's like, okay, story done, job done. What are you going to do then? Start from bottom. Explore from the bottom. That's the fun part. Starting off from like being overpowered and stuff, or like having a high reach and already have your story complete is just not gonna get you anywhere. You're just ruining the experience for yourself, and it's just, why would you do that? And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.